And welcome back. Oh god. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to DreamHack Masters Atlanta Group Stage 1 Replay Cast. I'm of course your host, Light VIP, and with me, joining me today for the first time in a long time, it is not Rufus, it is not the cat, it is AsherBro.
Well, how do you always say for the first time, not in a long time? Hasn't even been 24 hours.
Yes, I wasn't casting with you. I was casting with Rufus.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, there you go. There's logic behind what I say sometimes.
Aye. Really?
Oh god, but yes, we are back. Of course, yesterday we ended up covering Group C and E from the DreamHack Atlanta Group Stage 1. Of course, as a reminder, we're casting matches that were never broadcasted during the main event. It was never on the main stream, the B stream, the C stream, or the D stream. And it's a travesty because yesterday we had some pretty amazing matches.
They were never meant to be seen. They were not for the eyes. They were not for our eyes.
It makes sense.
But we have gotten the illegal replays.
Yeah, I mean...
Don't tell anyone.
Yesterday there were some cannon rushes, there was some pylons in the opponent's main base, warping in DTs into mineral. It was disgusting. It was... but beautiful at the same time. There was some beauty in the PvPs that we had yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I want from my PvPs. If it's anything other than a clown fiesta, I kind of just want to turn it off, to be honest.
I feel the same. I feel the same. Look, if the Protosses, if they aren't aping each other, then who are they trying to kid? You know, who are they fooling? And you know,
yeah,
like
exactly.
They're pretending like they're not animals.
It's collusion. Honestly.
shaking my head. But welcome everyone in the stream as well. Thank you so much for resubbing for 7 months, Dave Tester. Thank you. We always do appreciate it. And now that we've finished up some of our Duckling groups, where we've still got a couple more matches to go here in Group Stage 1. And now we don't have to be anywhere near as biased because no Ducklings today. No Ducklings.
Yeah, it's alright. Half of them are Terrans, so I can be as biased as I want. It's the stronger bias for me, honestly.
It's the stronger race as well. But yeah, we have a couple of matches ahead of us, so we're going to be starting things off here, of course, with Ryung versus MaNa. We're going to be continuing with Diego's group. I believe it is going to be, let me just quickly double check. Yes, Group P in Group Stage 1. Kelazar, Silky, and Nightmare, as well as Azure. So a pretty stacked group overall. We're going to be covering some of the highlights of that, and then we're going to end things off with Trigger versus Sue.
Let me just open this page that I probably should have just left open last night with my 100 other tabs. Okay, we're good. We're ready.
Beautiful, Bobby. Beautiful. So specifically for this match, we didn't quite want to go through the entire group here, but I guess did you want to go over maybe some highlights coming into this decider match?
Yes.
Well, you had it open.
Looks like Ryung got the 2-0 over Cognite. Cognite, he's a high masters, kind of low GM-ish sort of American Protoss good player. Not quite Ryung's level, so he managed to get that 2-0. And MaNa taking down Disrespect as well, 2-0. Disrespect mid-ish GM, mid to high GM on the NA ladder. So that's a nice 2-0 for MaNa as well. So the two pretty clear favorites from this group are going to be facing each other for the winners match here in Ryung and MaNa. Yeah.
Unfortunately, like, this group was a little bit lopsided in that Ryung and MaNa are insane. So a little bit smudged for both Disrespect and Cognites, you know, rolling the dice and having a bit of a rough go at it. But yeah, it's always great to see, you know, some of these big names from Korea and Europe kind of face off, because we didn't get to see it that often.
Yeah, exactly. So Ryung and MaNa, it's a very nice matchup there. Fairly evenly matched. I would slightly give the nod to Ryung if I had to pick, but MaNa does kind of pop off sometimes and can take games off anyone.
Oh yeah, he really can. Oh boy, so we'll see kind of where this all leads us as we are diving into our first match of the evening.
Beautiful. And here we go, spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. This is our red Protoss playing for Team Liquid. This is MaNa.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have his opponent, a South Korean Terran player representing Team GP. It is Ryung.
Wonder if this game got casted in Polish.
Maybe.
I can see India was in here.
Oh, there you go. You know. You have confirmation, Barbie. So it makes sense. It makes sense. Even though this wasn't casted in English, there were a bunch of language streams that could kind of pick and choose where they wanted to go. And it would make sense for Indy to come around here.
Yeah, good to see him supporting MaNa here. But here we go. We are going to be heading into this with a double gas coming out from the Terran. This has become the meta as of late. We have been seeing a little bit more of single gas mixed back in just to kind of play with perceptions as this is starting to get worked out. But I definitely think as of this tournament, it's still a very strong build to go for.
Yeah, definitely, especially because you get to be not just a little bit more aggressive early on, but you could argue maybe, I guess, safer as well, just in case your opponent is planning to be aggressive early as well. As I say that, MaNa did actually kind of scour around the map looking for any kind of weird proxies or anything like that. I mean, Ryung isn't one to shy away from that. He can be a little bit Mario-esque at times, you know, to kind of throw caution to the wind and just start off the gate with proxies, but not this game.
Yeah, Ryung, as a lot of Korean Terrans are, is a good preparation player as well. So does have some nice builds that he can throw on in there. Has a very good range of builds, actually.
Yeah, I guess that's the other interesting thing to take note of, especially in Group Stage 1, is that the players had like a week to prepare for all of their opponents in their respective groups. So if Ryung was going to prepare for anyone coming into this, it would have been MaNa. I don't know if he needs to. Like, it's hard. It's hard to judge, you know, the skill level between these two because they aren't necessarily at the top of their region. I can't imagine they play each other often.
I don't know necessarily if he would be right to do this, but I don't think Ryung would have prepared for MaNa.
Fair enough.
I feel like it's just the most Korean thing ever to just skill check and be like, yeah, no, easy.
Yeah.
I kind of like how he's got his Reaper positioned here as well. It looks like he's trying to bait the Adept into doing that dance on either side of the Nexus where the Reaper can just outrange it.
Yeah, exactly. So just kind of chilling there, just poking away. But the Adept does bypass the Reaper in the end, is just zooming across the map. We do have a handful of Marines that are going to be waiting on top of the ramp, and we'll see if Ryung can make sure he fends off this Adept and we don't see a delay on his CC.
Yeah, we actually see Ryung not opting for a mine drop, instead going straight into a Cyclone. This is similar to what we saw from Dolan last night, and it can lead into a medevac tank push, but we do see him actually throwing down that tech lab here, so looks like it's more likely to be either Raven just for extra safety, or possibly even Cloak Banshees.
Yeah, exactly. As we do see the Reaper getting picked off there across the map, was able to confirm the Stargate opener, and because of the Stargate, it does make sense that he would open up a little bit safe, but there we go, you called it. It is not a Raven, it is for Banshees.
Yeah, there we go. So the Cloak Banshee's just going to try to bypass the Oracles here. This is something that happens a little bit with DTs and Ravens as well, where you would think that a Raven means you're safe to DTs, but it actually means that when that Raven moves out, it's very unlikely that there's going to be a detection apart from that Raven.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic how things play out here because, you know, likewise, the reverse roles here, we do have detection available when it comes to these oracles. We actually have a second oracle in the way as well, so we're going to have plenty of energy for revelation, but MaNa has to be careful because he has to make sure that this Cyclone at least doesn't deal too much damage.
Yeah, Cyclone going to get up the lock on, gets a nice little bit of hull damage on that Oracle, but looks like MaNa going for multiple Oracles and the multiple Adepts here. Kind of a bit of this hero style that's been popular, looking for aggression with Oracles and Adepts together, but looks like this Oracle is actually waiting for a mine drop. That was quite interesting.
Yeah, the Oracles, they stayed at home for a moment longer. We have Phoenixes coming out as well. This is pretty interesting. Kind of the unit composition that MaNa's going for, as you were saying. We have a lot of potential for harassment, but he's also playing it safe by going for early Immortals as well. Ooh, as the Oracles just barely missed the Banshee.
Yeah, there he goes. Kind of what I was talking about. If the oracles are caught out on the map
Hmm.
when the Banshee slips in, it doesn't really matter that MaNa has detection because it's nowhere near his base.
Yeah, it's nowhere near. We see him throwing down the Bay as well to get into Colossi production. There is an observer on the way, so he will have some detection back at home. We see a revelation on the second Banshee, so now MaNa's fully aware that the first one should be across the map.
Yeah, MaNa playing things very safe here, just opting to go for this two-base play, and I love the way that he's done this as well, going for the Immortal early, going for the Observer as well. This just makes sure that he'll be safe from any kind of early tank push.
Yeah, but despite that, this one Banshee in the main base is getting damage done. 6 probes, 6+ probes already going down. We do have a revelation, we do have some Phoenixes, but as MaNa is being distracted right now, we do see Ryung's main pushes coming across the map.
Yeah, there we go. We were talking about it before. Sometimes when you think you're safe, that's when you're most vulnerable, and 9 probes is more than enough damage for a Banshee here.
Yeah, exactly. At the same time, we do have an Oracle across the map. Ooh, a couple of Marines are going to be able to buy a little bit of time there for those workers. At the same time, the main push is moving on forward here. A sentry already going down. We do have an overcharge.
Yeah, overcharge has been committed, and there's no stim here for Ryung, so a little bit lucky there that MaNa's Phoenix was out of range of the shield battery, though.
Yeah, exactly. Great target firing on that Phoenix, as well as 10 workers are going down. That one Oracle across the map is evening up that economic damage. Or even doing more.
Really nicely done here by MaNa, but that does open him up to a counterattack as well. Looks like this Oracle is going to get that revelation down, but there's only one Phoenix here to make use of that.
Oh, exactly. So these Banshees, they're just going to commit and they're going to give up their lives here. But in the end, 10 more probes go down. MaNa moving out across the map here. I mean, to be fair, he doesn't have a third base to fall back on. There we go. Third base is now on the way, but he doesn't really have too much. I'm worried that he may be caught out. We'll see.
Got a Phoenix. Not a Phoenix, a Colossus. He can do anything.
He's got a Phoenix too. He's cracked, mate. Oh my god. Phoenix Colossus.
Yeah, so pretty much this will work out as a bit of a stalemate. Ryung has these tanks set up, and that does mean that the Colossus can't push any further than that, but he's pretty unlikely to be able to take his third anytime soon.
Yeah, third CC now started here in the main base of Ryung. I do worry because Stim is on the horizon. And again, if MaNa sticks around a little bit too long, mate, we got a couple of Marauders coming out. Like, Ryung could potentially dive on this. Oh,
you overestimate, you underestimate the power of the Colossus.
Do I? Because...
No, you're absolutely right. The Marauder can definitely do well against that. The Immortal there will help out as well, but I don't think that was the best choice by MaNa to try to break this natural.
Yeah, I'm like, man, he's crazy. I'm talking about how like MaNa's going to be careful with because otherwise he may overextend and then he just pushes it anyway. He doesn't even care. He had like 2 gateway units with a Colossi and I'm like, oh my, look, Protoss is pretty good, but I don't think it's that good.
Yeah, I mean, the Phoenix just got focused down straight away, and I don't think this was really a position where you want to throw away those Phoenix.
Yeah, because now we're in a really weird place where the Phoenix count was basically reset. We do have 2 more back at home, to be fair, and now we have a second Colossi, but suddenly MaNa's army is pretty bare bones, and we have a drop coming across the map, and unfortunately we don't have anywhere near as much air presence to deny this.
Yeah, his extra Phoenix would have helped a lot. We're going to have 2 of those moving out just in time to spot that drop. Actually, they miss it, and the drop's going to be getting on in. We see a very quick recall coming out from MaNa that should deal with this quite nicely, but 4 Phoenix would have posed much more of a threat to these medevacs than 2 does.
Yeah, they're just going to tickle away at these medevacs. The drop is real, and the Phoenixes can't really contend with the Marines, so very nicely done here by Ryung, at least forcing a recall, forcing a reaction. We do see the third base is now being taken. That tank count from Ryung is looking quite formidable. You know, he does have 3 here on location, just ramping up that production, getting ready, I imagine, for a second wave.
Yeah, there we go. Ryung just making himself safe at home while he gears up for a second wave. We do see batteries going down as well. MaNa just trying to survive till this charge is done so he can start warping in Zealots and increasing the gateway count of this army. But as for now, he's got himself pretty nicely up onto a 3-base economy.
Yeah, you know, his economy's not looking too bad at all. He's getting fully saturated on those 3 bases, as you were saying. He's already pre-split his army. We have some Phoenixes and a Colossi waiting in the main base for any kind of drop. So, yeah, MaNa's looking pretty safe, all things considered. Oh, we even saw a spotter unit catching another double drop here on the right-hand side.
Yeah, exactly. He has kept control of these watchtowers very well. He's going to be spotting out this drop on the side. Does have the extra Phoenix now as well, so he can help try to take out these medevacs, trading shields 4 Marines. Really nice there.
Yeah, picks up a couple of Marines, no harm, no foul there for MaNa. He's even able to deflect the push on the right-hand side as well, but Ryung also hasn't really overcommitted to anything, and now he doesn't just have these tanks and this bio army, he's also got some ghosts coming out.
Yeah, there we go. Ryung making his way all the way through his transitions. Does have that early armory as well. I'm not really sure why that armory was so early, but it does mean that he's going to be able to get his 2-2 at a very nice timing despite having ghosts already.
Yeah, there we go. At least +2 attack is on the way. MaNa thinking about it. Okay, I was like, is he going to start moving out? No. He's just preparing himself, just situating himself to protect this 4th base, while Ryung is just building up his army, waiting for his upgrades.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit of a stalemate between the two players at the moment. We got that 4th base coming down for Ryung. We got his 6, 7, 8 racks as well. So just progressing along here, has enough tanks just to keep himself safe at home, and is now going to look to get map control.
Oh yeah, exactly. He's just trying to take control of the Zonagas. We do see MaNa retaking control of the top left to make sure no drops come through. It also means that his Phoenixes are a little bit out of position here on the left-hand side as Ryung is looking to move in towards the right. And even though MaNa has been able to solidify himself here in his own bases, in his own bottom left-hand corner, I feel like we're lacking a little bit in gateway units. We're lacking a little bit in the buffer here for these Colossi and Archons. But I feel like maybe Ryung can hit a bit of a timing here if he does catch this.
Yeah, possibly. We do have those Phoenix and those Colossus geared up, but it's, as you were saying, not the biggest amount of gateway units on the ground. We do have a couple Disruptors, we have a few Colossus as well, but with that scan there, I think Ryung can start to use these 2 armies that he has split on the map to put a bit of pressure on now.
Yeah, exactly. He's now fully aware of the location of the main army. Phoenixes do catch a couple more Marines and Marauders here on the left-hand side, so once again, these Phoenixes are getting value over time, and we have seen that they have been able to survive a little bit longer than the first handful, as, oh my god, MaNa even looks to take a 5th.
Yeah, there we go. MaNa just using this defensive comp to keep on moving along through his economy. He's going to be clearing out a lot of these spotters as well. Both players doing a very good job just scrapping for map control here.
Oh, speaking of, we do see the MP on those Phoenixes, but a quick reaction from MaNa. He does pull back in time. At the same time, we do have that massive push on the right-hand side. We're going to try and break through at least some of these cannons. Doesn't commit to a fight.
Yeah, just putting a bit of damage on those, trying to drag the army out of position. And the name of the game here for Ryung is just trying to outposition MaNa or just throw off his army split. If he can work out which side is stronger, which side is weaker, and push that weak side, maybe even start to threaten a drop into the main. That's going to be how you start to break this high-quality Robo army.
Yeah, we'll see if he can pull it off. Meanwhile, another massive EMP on the majority. Actually, every single one of those Phoenixes. Oh my god. They won't be able to add too much here. We do see the army simming on forward as well. Only 1 Colossi for splash damage.
Yeah, there we go. And now that MaNa reveals that his whole army is being brought to this side, Ryung's going to be able to start to press in on the other side, even taking out the 5th with this north side. And this is where he can start to pull MaNa apart. Once he sees this army coming over to this side, he can start to think about dropping into the main.
Oh, exactly. He has options right now in MaNa. He is scrambling to split up his army and defend. We do see his Disruptors moving over towards the triangular third. We see his Phoenixes moving over to the right-hand side. Once again, this lone Colossi is looking a little bit bare bones. So he does have some shield batteries to help support. Oh, but Ryung is looking to try and test the waters once again.
Yeah, this part of the game for Protoss is, there we go, loading up for this big drop into the main, as we do have units being picked off at the bottom here. It does look like Ryung's army on the bottom right is starting to get surrounded, but he's kind of catching MaNa off guard with the drop in the main.
Yeah, we had a recall here, so Phoenixes all went back into the main base. 1 Colossus went down for free. Disruptor shots are going to be going off.
Ooh.
Decent connections there.
Yeah, good connections. It looks like Ryung going to be winning out in the main here. Does lose all his medevacs, so this is going to be a one-way trip, and that means that MaNa can take his time when it comes to defending this, but he's losing gateways all the while, and Ryung is not letting the pressure up whatsoever.
Yeah, despite not having the best trades on the right-hand side, the army sims on forward anyway. MaNa once again pulled out of position. A lot of cannons and shield batteries are going to be going down. At the same time, the drop in the main is still, looks like, barely being cleaned up.
Yeah, looks like that's finally going to get cleaned up after taking out a lot of the gateways. But more importantly, Ryung, he has full map control. He is stopping MaNa from taking a 5th, and he has all the room in the world to set up his own 5th. So this is more than doing his job, even if the trades haven't been the most efficient.
Yeah, it's one of these things where it still feels like Ryung is setting up for a 1-2 punch here. Like, a lot of the stack defense has been cleaned up, and MaNa hasn't replenished it. We do see once again his 4th base is under threat, and the cannons and shield batteries were rebuilt.
Yeah, static has been destroyed here, and Yeah, this is one of these things that makes the late game so difficult in TvP is this army split. It's something we see top Protoss like Showtime doing so well, but it is not an easy thing to do.
Oh, it really is. And meanwhile, it looks like MaNa was able to protect his base in the end. Did end up losing a disruptor in the process, though. And the drop in the main base is still going unhindered. Oh my god, he's going for the Cybergore. He's going to try and deny +1, but he doesn't get it.
Yeah, isn't able to get that. Does get on out of there. Does look like he managed to scout that it was spinning though, and that does mean that he'll be aware that there is a Stargate transition on the way, and that's going to make him want to play even more aggressive here.
Yeah.
As we do see, he's actually getting up a 6th base. Ryung is so far ahead on the economy.
Yeah, exactly. 6th base on the way. Meanwhile, that was a kill, not a cancel on the 5th base towards the south. It looks like MaNa is pretty frustrated. It looks like he's had enough. He's like, I just want to aim move across the map. I just want to go for it. I want to send it. Nova's going to be going off, but don't find any connections whatsoever. There's just barely not enough anti-air to hunt this down. The Phoenix count was reset. There's only one left.
Yeah, MaNa has an insane amount of tech units here. He has, it looks like 7 Disruptors and 4 Colossus. Yep. Got a few Immortals on the ground as well, so considering that he can't get his 5th up, I think the only option left is to try to go an all-in with this, but Ryung, he still has those tanks from the early game back at home.
Yeah, he's got Liberators as well as Lib range. Meanwhile, the 5th base, another kill, another cancel. The triangular third is going to be under threat as well, forces a recall, and MaNa has to go back home.
Yeah, this is brilliant out of Ryung, just pinning MaNa back home, and MaNa, despite his best attempts to go all in, he has to come back and defend this. The threat of the DPS of the bio is just too strong, and that means that he has lost a lot of the timing of this all-in push.
Yeah, exactly. Just MaNa has been pulled apart left and right, and I'm just really impressed. Honestly, it was a pretty clutch timing for Ryung to be ready with his Liberators. If it wasn't for that, maybe MaNa would have just bum rushed and gone up the ramp anyway, but now the Liberators are here. MaNa is going to be coming in from behind, so a decent angle coming in from MaNa.
Yeah, but it looks like he's actually going to be walking into his own surround. The Liberators turn around. Those Liberators, of course, have that crucial +2 upgrades, so they will be two-shotting the Stalkers. The Colossus absolutely shred what's left on the ground, but if you can take out everything except the Colossus, you can even take out the Colossus. What a dominating game from Ryung.
GG, the surround was real, and MaNa, it felt like in the early to mid game he was doing quite well. We saw he was getting his 4th base up and running. You know, he was able to split up his army and defend against all these drops, but over time he was pulled apart, and Ryung was relentless.
Yes, absolutely relentless, and Ryung taking a very strong game 1 and giving us kind of a clinic on how to play against Robo from Protoss. Just making sure that 5th doesn't get up and constantly threatening both sides of the map.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I guess the devil is in the details, but there were also like these little things as well, where Ryung wasn't overcommitting. You know, he was just picking up a couple of cannons and shield batteries here and there. He was doing a great job at focus firing those Phoenixes, and we saw that as soon as that Phoenix count was reset, like Ryung had such an easier time just going for these constant drops, and just applying all of that pressure onto MaNa.
Yeah, exactly. Not being able to pick up units after you've taken out all the medevacs changes the math a lot on what you can send back into the main. You could see that MaNa was trying to defend that drop in the main, the big doom drop with 4 or 5 medevacs with just Zealots and Phoenix, but the Phoenix didn't really have anything to do once they killed the medevacs.
Yeah, exactly. It was just kind of, in a way, idle supply there that could have been used elsewhere, and unfortunately they were left there as well, which is why so many of them died. So very well done there by Ryung getting that first game, but now we're getting into game number 2.
Here we go, game number 2, and we are on Inside now. It's a little bit of a smaller map. I wouldn't be too surprised to see aggressive plays coming out from either player.
Oh, exactly. That smaller map does tend to favor the aggression, but we'll see if that's what we get.
Here we go, as spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, down 1-0. It is our Polish Protoss in the red. This is MaNa.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Inside now, we have the South Korean Terran player representing Team GP. It is Ryung. How are your sweeps, Papi? How are your sweeps?
I'm not doing the sweeps. Too lazy.
Fair enough.
Hell no.
Oh my god. But yeah, you know, diving into game number 2, I was honestly really impressed with how Ryung was able to handle himself, especially after He wasn't really able to accomplish too much with his. It didn't feel like he was able to accomplish what he wanted to with his opener. It felt like MaNa was pretty robust, at least in the early game.
Yeah, I'd say so. Looks like the... Actually, no, remembering that game, I think it's just that MaNa got the counter damage as well.
Yeah.
Like, definitely Ryung wasn't able to get what he wanted done. But he did get a lot of kill with the Banshees. It's just that MaNa got the same amount of kills with the Oracle, so they kind of cancelled each other out.
Yeah,
definitely. Definitely right there.
Fair enough, fair enough. It's like the Banshees did a lot, but also the Oracles did a lot. So it was like,
Yeah.
Oh my god. Fair enough, fair enough. So yeah, we'll see how things differ here. I imagine we're going to be seeing a different opener from MaNa. You know, typically we tend to see Stargate openers on some of these larger maps, like your Data Seas, like your Cosmic Sapphires. On Data Sea, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. It's more likely that we're going to be seeing some kind of Twilight opener here. There's definitely a lot of potential with this main as well. A lot of area around the bottom of the ramp where you can blink in there. So wouldn't be too surprised to see some kind of blink pressure builders. Yeah, we do just see this first little pylon just being annoying, just going to be blocking that add-on there. That does open Ryung up for a depth or the like, but it looks like he's going to be filling that gap or just taking his low ground. He doesn't really care.
Yeah, mate, he doesn't give a damn, right? He's like, who are you? Oh my god. I'm sure they know each other, you know, they're both very old school players. But yeah, for the time being, not really too concerned. And oh, MaNa doesn't go for the Twilight Council.
Yeah, it does go for that Stargate after all. I was going to say as well, this pylon's so funny. This is something that I'd never seen before, and then I played on the career ladder, and literally every single Protoss does this on career ladder.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's interesting how the metas do change depending on what region you're in. But, you know, MaNa's whipping it out here as well. Maybe something a little bit more higher level just to be a little bit annoying. But again, Ryung, he's not really sweating too hard about it. Does end up losing a building SCV though, so his CC is going to be a little bit delayed.
Yeah, Stalker gets chronoed straight across the map. The Marine's not going to be doing too much about that, but Ryung did go for a fast Cyclone. This pylon, of course, does have vision that nothing's come out of this factory yet, so looks like MaNa has put 2 and 2 together and gets that Stalker out of there.
Yeah, he gets the hell out of there. He doesn't want to lose it to that Cyclone. Ryung will be able to restart his CC. The other interesting thing is that this second Rax is out of vision. Looking at the vision of MaNa, yes, it was out of range of that pylon.
Completely blanked out. I don't agree with what you said. 100% that. 100%. Definitely couldn't have put it better myself. As we do see this Oracle being sent out across the map, trying to dodge out the Reaper, but Ryung is going to get eyes on this.
He does get eyes on it. Looks like Reaper goes down. Oh, how does he
blasted?
Oh,
Adam.
I was pointing out the 3 Rex follow-up, Puffy. That's what I was pointing out. Yeah.
He's got 3 of them.
God damn it.
What an animal.
Shaking my head, Asher. Shaking my head. You told me you ate.
Yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had pancakes with banana.
Oh my god. You had pancakes for dinner with bananas?
I think I had dinner too at some point.
What do you mean? What do you
No, I did. I had vegan beef ragu.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I don't know what it's called.
I didn't cook it.
You're an actual animal. Oh my god.
Look, I played like 10 games of Terran. My brain doesn't work anymore. As we do see Ryung, going for this build. This is a build that was very popularized by both him and Bunny in IEM, the recent IEM, Katowice. They were doing this a lot with a proxy racks as well, and coming back with a 3 racks off a single Cyclone. So it's a very, very safe build, and it gives you a nice timing with these first 2 medevacs around the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, and we'll see if he can try and punish MaNa here. I feel like this is pretty similar to the previous game where MaNa, he's got his oracles, he can go for his revelations, try and get some scouting information. He's already working on some Phoenix production as well to help deal with any kind of medevacs. So it's going to be on Ryung to try and bob and weave, thread the needle, and avoid those Phoenixes, as we already have 2 on the map and a 3rd on the way.
Yeah, we can see MaNa very heavily prioritizing map vision, just playing a very defensive game here, trying to make sure that he gets eyes on everything Ryung's doing, spreads himself across the entire map, and can just defend with a small amount of tech units here. And as for Ryung, I think this opener that he's going for is probably more hoping that he's going up against a Twilight opener. The kind of meta when this build was very popular was Oracle into Blink Stalkers, and I think that's a build that this matches up very well against. But at the same time, he was able to show in that last game just how much he can get done with his drops.
Oh, exactly. You know, despite the opener from MaNa, despite the fact that he has so much map vision, so far the drop hasn't been spotted. We do see both Oracles, you know, off to the left-hand side, ready to dive in and get some economic damage done. But as I say that, the Phoenixes may just come across these medevacs as they boost in.
Or they're boosting straight in through the main. He's just sending it right on in there, and there are a lot of Phoenix here. The micro is good from MaNa. Not going to be losing any of his Phoenix. Just has to be a little bit careful with this one that's just popped out. But yeah, looks like Ryung, he thinks better of staying there as MaNa has time to respond now.
Yeah, I love that decision, by the way. Again, he doesn't overextend. He doesn't lose anything at all. Only a little bit of hull damage to these medevacs as the main army of Ryung is moving out. He has to be careful. There are a handful of stasis traps just scattered around the map. At any moment, they can catch any of these units as Ryung is looking to try and apply that multi-prong aggression.
Yeah, there we go. MaNa even sending out a probe through the middle of the map, so you can see he very heavily prioritizes trying to catch eyes on the army of Ryung. But Ryung, much earlier than last time, splits out his army, and big stasis trap goes down. And with those Phoenix there, they're going to be able to pounce on what remains of this army. But Ryung, he's just going straight on through the middle. He is completely broadsided MaNa.
Oh my god, the transferring workers all go down. We see a forced recall as well. Not an insane amount of damage, but 6 probes nonetheless. And Ryung is able to get the hell out of there as he gets stasis chases again. God damn it.
Yeah, he does get stasis trapped again. But yeah, we can see the same concepts that he was using in that previous game. Just using this double prong, not necessarily to open up damage, but just to keep poking holes in the defense. Just take out a little bit of static here, force a recall there, take out a few units here and there, and all of this will eventually add up to some real damage.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll see where that all kind of culminates in the end, as MaNa did finally pull the trigger with both of his Oracles. He got 3 SCVs and was able to reveal the army, as Ryung doesn't care. He's moving out. Okay, just getting into position here to protect his third base for the time being, and the Oracles, they come back in.
Yeah, Oracle's dipping back in here at a very nice time. That probe did catch the move out, so good move by MaNa there just to move out. To dip him with his Oracles, and he's going to get a lot of damage for it.
Oh my god, there's just something about MaNa and his Oracles. Game 1 and game number 2, they're getting an insane amount of damage right now. Only 2 Marines to defend, and a Cyclone finally going to force MaNa back. And now it's his time to pounce, as Ryung has been pulled apart left and right. MaNa's main army is pushing through right the middle of the map.
Yeah, there we go. MaNa actually able to hit quite a nice 3 Colossus timing here, and this is 2 Colossus, I can't count. This is going to make things pretty difficult for Ryung, especially if he's caught moving out here. It looks like Ryung a little bit lacking in the map vision in this game and doesn't have any idea that MaNa is right at his doorstep. Yeah. And he is so far away from MaNa's base.
To be fair, I think recall is on cooldown, so we're going to have to commit. No, Ryung, he turns around. He's coming back home, but it's a little bit too late. We did see a pretty clutch EMP on all of those Phoenixes.
Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, Ryung's recall is on cooldown, as it does tend to be for the turn. Doesn't really seem fair to me, but that's all right. As we do see, he is setting up for a huge throne here. Might even have to pull workers to get this done, but his natural has already gone down. I think the damage has just about been done, but both Colossus go down, almost both. MaNa with a clutch save with the Prism.
Yeah, exactly. That was so clutch indeed, keeping one of those Colossi alive. The Bio Army is looking to try and clean all of this up. Once again, the Phoenix count was completely reset, but these Zealots are going ham in the natural and in the main base. 34 SCVs going down.
Yeah, exactly. And we have another warp in of Zealots. MaNa has just taken up a residence here in the main of Ryung, but he is kind of looking like he might want to go for a recall, a little bit in 2 minds of what to do here, as the stim bio for Ryung is starting to find a nice angle here.
Yeah, exactly, and it looks like the entire Protoss army is going to get cleaned up here. The Archons, the Colossi. We have a recall to save Zealots. A little bit late. I was actually checking. We did have a recall available for MaNa if he so chose to, but to be fair, he did deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, looks like there was a little bit of a slight misplay, kind of losing those Archons a little bit cheaply, but at the same time, it looks like Ryung was able to get some counter damage across the map, actually landing a mine drop. We see a lot of workers have gone down this game on both sides.
Oh yeah, a lot of, you don't want to be a worker in this matchup, as we have one Widowmite in the main base of MaNa that's about to reset as well. Ryung is pushing out across the map, and MaNa, he lost a lot of his high-tech units, as you were saying. He has one Colossi, he has one Archon as well, only one, and he's not quite in position here to protect his triangular third.
There we go, that Oracle just going to be throwing down a Revelation, trying to find any more mines here. Ryung kind of poking and prodding, but as he's shown all series, he's very much able to be patient when the time comes for that.
Yeah, exactly. Another Widowmite shot going to go off here at the third. Only one probe going down. Oh, so the transfer comes in a little bit later, a couple of seconds even, but Ryung is getting ready for another push. He's got his Ghost for EMPs. He's got a tank as well. One tank! It's all you need, Papi. Let's go.
One tank and a dream. It looks like MaNa, he realizes just how far ahead he is, doesn't want to throw away this game trying to defend a 4th base against a 2-base Terran. So he's just going to give that one up, and he's going to drop back in between these bases where he can fall back to the shield battery.
Oh, exactly. But another couple of gateway units are going to get picked off here in the process. We have a second Colossi that's going to come out in a couple of seconds. Ryung, can he hit a timing? Oh, does force the overcharge.
Well, the overcharge has been forced. We still have an EMP here available, and all the units are very bunched up here for MaNa. Was able to get a second Colossus out. That does mean that he's going to be able to push out, and here we go. He's sending it.
Yeah, the EMP does connect with the majority of those charge lots. They're all going to be going down. That one tank in the back line is doing so much damage. At the same time, we have a Zealot run by across the map. Again, just forcing Ryung even more all in. But is that a wise choice? Do we not need those Zealots back at home?
Oh, nice feedback on the ghosts there. So with MaNa's energy all restored, no more EMPs available. He will have a full strength army, but there goes the second Nexus, and suddenly things are looking a lot closer in this game. Ryung managing to use some very nice micro to get himself back into this one.
Oh, exactly. 2 base versus 2 base right now. We have a third Colossi on the horizon. We do not have an overcharge available. Bear that in mind. So Ryung could maybe try and force his way up this ramp. We have our reinforcements coming back across the map. Those Zealots, they were cleaned up.
Yeah, actually saw a drop from Ryung heading over to the bottom right-hand corner, but oh, nice little pickup from Ryung. He's going to be saving out that tank. Not really sure where this drop on the right side of the map is going off to, but just exploring, trying to find any extra side bases and take those out in case MaNa is being sneaky.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, he's come back with everyone else. It's all good. As Ryung's army has been tagged, MaNa is going to try and rotate over with him. Ooh, can pick off one medevac for free.
This is so interesting what Ryung's doing with this medevac. He's quite sure that MaNa has a hidden base somewhere.
He's like, mate, what are you doing right now? There's no way you're still in this game with only 2 bases. Oh my god.
There we go. MaNa actually finding himself with a pretty formidable army. That scan going down for Ryung. Ryung agrees as well. He's going to be backing out into this more open area. Thinks once about setting up a surround there, but there's just a few too many Zealots. He's going to try to back into his own base, and MaNa doesn't really want to push into a potential concave.
Man, I love the babysitting that Ryung has had with this tank. This is not the first time that he has just gone for a hot pickup and made sure that it survives. Again, it's the backbone to his army. He's got some more ghosts coming out. He's got some more Vikings as well. His army is honestly looking quite scary here. I mean, Ryung, he was working off of like 24 SCVs to begin with, but again, mules are pretty good. And that drop, ooh, maybe going to be able to, yeah, he picks up a couple more across the map.
Yeah, nice job with this drop. Does find the Archon, so he's going to have to back on out of there. MaNa still hasn't quite got that 3rd base up yet, so the Terran's still a little bit ahead on the economy as that main starts to mine out. We do have quite a few ghosts here for Ryung as well, so his army's looking very nice.
It really is. Oh my god, so many Marauders, so many ghosts, so many Marines. MaNa, finally his 3rd base is up and running. Now his economy is not looking too bad here. But is it too late? Ryung, like, he's skyrocketing here in the supply, and sooner rather than later, he is going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, exactly. I love the control Ryung's had over this game so far. Kind of makes me want to play a bit of TvP, but we do have a second tank. Oh no, it's the first tank. He repaired it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so nice.
Oh my god, it's the first tank. Meanwhile, Nova's going to be going off. It does connect, taking out one of those ghosts, but at the same time, there's that one drop from earlier that was looking for the ninja bases has found a mineral line, and 9 probes go down.
Yeah, more pros going down. We do see a scan going down for Ryung immediately as a reaction there. He has to know that there's an observer somewhere on his army, but hasn't quite been able to find it yet.
Oh, yeah, unfortunately, MaNa has full vision of the army and where it is maneuvering. Meanwhile, drop coming in. Ooh, takes out a High Templar here at the natural of MaNa. Very nicely done here, actually forcing MaNa to come all the way back home. And now, Ryung, he finds a disrupt in the middle of the map. Oh.
Yeah, nice catch there. He's going to be taking out the Spotter Zealot as well, that being brought back, and actually looks like he's going to be able to set up a very nice angle on this third here. Does have this dead space just above this third as well, where he can camp his Vikings and start picking away at the Colossus of MaNa.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, as you say, the one Colossus goes down immediately. We do have a couple of EMPs as well. There's only one Colossus remaining, and now there is 0 Colossus left.
Beautiful concave coming out from MaNa. It's just going to be dodging out that one disruptor, even landing the Vikings here to take out the last of what MaNa has. And Ryung with a beautiful 2-0, bringing that game back from what looks like a little bit of a dicey situation for a moment there.
GG. Yeah, there was a moment this game where Ryung had 2 CCs to the 4 Nexi of MaNa. It's insane that he was able to come back from that position. Obviously, a lot of that probably did come down to the fact that MaNa did overstay his welcome. He went all the way into the main base of Ryung and he lost everything. Remember, the only things that he saved from that push were zealots, and because of that, he really didn't have much to stop Ryung's massive counterattack, where he was able to take down the 3rd and the 4th.
Yeah, exactly. He got so much damage with that counterattack. It felt like MaNa was a little bit indecisive when it came to his defense, but Ryung just a little bit too strong with that bio micro, able to get himself back into his game with just very consistent controlling play. I really love the way that he positions all his bio throughout that game. Never really looking for a complete fight against the Colossus, but just kind of forcing MaNa to be in certain parts of the map.
Yeah, it felt very... I think you said it after game 1, like very clinical, like very methodical even, where, you know, it's like kind of death by 1,000 cuts a little bit, but he's also kind of forcing MaNa to kind of dance to his music and respond to him, and then he can find like these little openings as well. There's a lot of finesse to this style, and yeah, it looked really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it takes to win a TvP. You just have to be a god, maestro, master, king, champion, hero guy.
Mate, you have to be Ryungjwa, okay? You got to be Ryungjwa.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
GG, well played to Ryung there, looking dominant there in his TvP, and with that he does make it out first in his group. As you can imagine, MaNa didn't have too much issues with the other players in the group either, so he still makes it out anyway. But yeah, this was one of those matches that wasn't casted, and I think it's a good thing that we decided to cover it.
We need to have that end of WTL music where it's kind of like we'd be like, MaNa was able to take out the rest of his opponents, and now you can find him even today in group stage 2. He was able to live his dreams, Papi. Get into the school that he wanted.
Ryung was able to end his series early, and he went to look for food. He was never seen again. Oh my god. Beautiful. Yeah, that's a good idea. I love that music so much. The WTL
I know.
It's so good.
Just imagining you just going around your house and like you just got dishes to do or something, and you just put the music on.
Yeah.
You just like, and Light was able to do all of his dishes, and then he could eat ramen in peace.
Beautiful. How'd you know what I did today? Oh my god. Yes, with that, we have finished up Ryung versus MaNa, and now we are gonna be heading over into Group P. Now this time we are gonna get in-depth nitty-gritty with this. We are gonna be featuring Diego, Papi, Diego.